Welcome to the Collector Chatter podcast. This is episode 19. I'm Miguel, my co-host Charlie. Of course, we had a packed week with news like we normally talk about. Last week, we started a new segment besides news. We also want to talk about some rumors. So there are a couple sites and some things that we want to just throw out some rumors that we're excited about. Nothing is confirmed. Again, when we talk about the rumors, it's just stuff that we're hearing about and we're just really, really hyped about in general. But we'll start off with the normal news. Charlie, you can start us off. But what was one of the big things that kind of caught your eye this week for news?
One of the big ones actually for me was we had mentioned before, but now they were official, the Star Wars Valentine's Day Funko Pops. And one, in the beginning, or it was four of them were kind of making their rounds. There's like glam shots. But actually, when they officially announced them this week, it was kind of cool. Target had an exclusive with the Mandalorian holding Grogu, and then the Funko Shop's gonna have an exclusive one, which is Bo-Katan. And I like this line. I think they're cute. I had mentioned, I think when Sensei Serum was on, my wife had bought me some of the original collection for Valentine's Day, and I think it's like a nice little, like the R2D2's kind of become like, it's not a grail, but the one that was a Funko Shop exclusive is pretty hard to get. So I'm gonna want to try to get some of these, and especially the Bo-Katan Funko Shop exclusive. So I was pretty excited about that, even though word on the street is they're not going to make Valentine's Day. So in classic
Funko
ways. So yeah, people aren't too happy about that.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, we saw that obviously with some of the Christmas stuff where like some kind of made it and then some stuff was a little bit later and delayed, but that's so weird. It's such a, and Valentine's Day is like so specific to like,
I know.
at least Christmas you can kind of celebrate for a little longer than just Christmas Day. Valentine's Day is pretty much the only time
Day,
really
it's over. Yeah.
Celebrating.
So hopefully Funko finds a way to make it happen, because I think it's gonna, especially for people who are pre-ordering it and don't realize that it's not going to come in, you're going to have some unhappy people.
Yeah. So I wonder if that is going to tank the sales if they don't actually drop when they should. Because if they drop later, people are probably just going to like let those things sit. But yeah, that was a cool line. I like that they it's a pretty big one, like where they just continue to add a couple different exclusives rather than just those original ones that we first spoke about. But yeah, that was a pretty big one. Something that kind of caught my eye was we had a couple new, it looks like they're extending a few different lines. So I know we're both fans of Hamilton, the musical. So they're adding to that line. We're getting Madison, a Jefferson, and a King George, which is pretty cool. So that line is obviously getting a little bit bigger. And then another line is also Pokemon. I know that's one that we've talked about before, like liking some of the core figures. Alakazam is a new one. I know that one. The other two I don't know. Lucario, I think is how you say him. I know that's supposedly is a pretty big character.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he's in. He kind of looks like he's like a bot, like he's a fighter in a way. Like he was one of the Pokemon that was in like Super Smash Brothers.
Yes,
he's like blue looking. He's a pretty popular Pokemon. I'm not surprised that they're making this one. And then the other one is an evolution of Eevee. So
an Eevee one,
which I think that will be a really popular one as well.
Yeah, so they continue to obviously grow this line. I kind of like what they're doing though, where you get like a few at a time. So it's not like they're going crazy and dropping 10 to 15. Yeah, so you get 3, maybe 5 max, but you're getting them little by little. We know that there's hundreds of them, especially now with the new evolutions and new versions of them. But Pokemon's still pretty popular. So that's obviously a line that they can continue to make. I just like that they're doing that rather than milking one character multiple different times, which they kind of do that with Pikachu, I guess you could say. But
but
at least we're getting new ones.
And it allows you to always be like excited for new Pokemon pops to come out. And like it's a perfect collection. For example, like I'm a Pokemon fan. I have some of the pops. I don't feel the need to get all of them, but I do get excited. Like, oh, with this drop, it's like, okay, these 3 new ones, maybe I'll want to get one of them from the line. Like, I really like that, where I feel like they stand apart from a lot of the other, IPs that they have to do.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I actually agree. Like, same thing. Like, I could pick and choose a lot easier. See, me and Charlie are kind of going against the little quotable saying of "got to catch them all." We actually think you don't have to catch them all, but yeah, I agree with you.
that was a good
one. So otherwise, we had another thing that excited me was a box lunch drop. Well, news. going to be dropping is another Little Mermaid. This is a deluxe pop. As soon as I saw it, I sent it to my wife. You guys, if you probably heard, she's obviously a huge fan, and this is just another moment. She has pretty much all the moments now, like the one where they're sitting in the boat with the music, the kiss the girl scene, which I think is like $100, which is crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But this one is her with the statue of him, like the
Prince Eric. It's pretty
stone,
cool.
yeah, of Prince Eric. So it is a pretty cool one. I mean, I like that. I like that they're still calling back to some of these old original Disney shows and movies, but you're getting like iconic scenes out of it. So it still makes it interesting because we've talked about it before with moments and stuff. Like you don't see many of them anymore. It used to be a lot of Star Wars, a lot of Marvel, and I feel like they've kind of slowed it down and not as made as many. But I like that because I like that they're kind of few and far between. You'll get one, and it's a little bit more exclusive because you're not getting every scene, possible.
They actually recently just came out with a new Tinkerbell box lunch exclusive, which is a deluxe pop. It's kind of a moment, I guess you could say, as well. And yeah, I think they do a really good job with those. And it's very obvious that the Little Mermaid is one of their biggest lines because they continuously are making like pretty cool original pops with that, which I like.
Yeah. And box lunch is always on board with like these, like whether it's the up moments and stuff, like all of these have usually coming straight through box lunch. So they obviously have kind of a tie to Disney and like that side of things. But yeah, that was something. Another Disney related ones. There's a Diamond Belle that I saw.
Yep.
That is going to be coming out. So obviously we're seeing a lot of diamond versions of these princesses. So that's just another one to add.
And then the Funko shop
to it
actually dropped an exclusive Beauty and the Beast pop last week.
Yes.
The Cogsworth, which you had a chance to get a chase. I think the chase is it's a lazy chase. It's like I feel like they're going a lot with like grayscale, black and white. Like it that's all he is within. He's kind of, I think, popping out of like a blueberry cobbler. It's a cool looking pop, but once again, I think they thought it was going to really sell. It was limited. And I saw yesterday on one of the Instagram accounts I follow, they now allowed you to get up to 10. So I think people are trying to get the chase, but I don't think it's that good of a chase. So it's not even, if I got the chase, I'd be happy, but it's not like, oh my God, I need to buy 10 of these to try to get the chase.
Yeah, because even the comment itself, now you're sitting there with something that's probably not going to sell, resell at that point. So now you just have extras. So yeah, that was something. We had some Marvel news. So there was an announcement for Entertainment Earth Scarlet Witch Glow in the Dark, which I think is going to be pretty interesting because Scarlet Witch pops usually are pretty popular. I definitely after the show dropped, I feel like a lot of those things skyrocketed in like value, and some of them look pretty cool. So that's another one that we're gonna get and see. It looks pretty cool. I mean, glow in the dark kind of makes sense. So
it does.
I see why they do that a lot.
I am a little disappointed in it though, if I'm being honest, because I feel like they could have done a new, even if it's just a new. I'm gonna go back to how we talked about the Batman pops last week. How they came out with a ton of different Batman ones, but he's doing all these different poses. This is the exact same pose of the common one. They just made it glow in the dark. You could have come up with a different pose. There's totally different ones they could have done. I'm just, I feel like they've done a lot of the glow in the dark ones with the Marvel Disney Plus shows is like the special one. They did that with Sylvie as well from Loki. They made a glow in the dark one. It's just like, I get why they do it for business like purposes because it doesn't really cost them much more to make it. But like, come on, just make another, like the Hot Topic exclusive one, which I actually was never able to get, where she's like floating, which I think is like a badass pop. I really want that one. Like that clearly sold. So like, let's just make some other ones. But
yeah,
I can go on about.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely just easy for them.
Yeah,
and they can just make the money. But that's usually what they do. Especially when they drop them at the same time, it's even more annoying when it's like, all right, so you got the two exact same pops, but one's glow and one's not. And usually what happens is, like for me, for instance, I'll try to get one of them. If I get the glow one, I'm not going to get the regular one because at that point it doesn't make sense.
Like I did that with, and I try to be a completionist with the newer Marvel pops. And when they came out with like the Kid Loki Funko Shop exclusive, it was just metallic. I already had the comment. I was like, I don't need to get this pop. It looks exactly the same. I know, I'm sure the metallic one will be, worth a little bit more, but as everyone knows, like I don't really care about that.
Yeah. And then we had, this one looks pretty cool. And what's crazy is that supposedly, I believe online it's not dropping until February, but we're already seeing it in stores for Target. And it's like the Target Con version. It's the Flock Knuckles.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
Which looks pretty awesome. I have the Tails. I believe Flock Tails was last Target
It was.
Con. I think Target Con usually does, right? Yeah, because that one I know I definitely have. But yeah, they look awesome. I think they are perfect characters to be flocked. I think that is like an awesome example of a exclusive, something that looks cool and like
Yeah.
it lends really well. And Knuckles, I know with the movie coming out, it's going to be awesome. Idris Elba. I mean, I'm pretty excited for that.
Definitely
like voicing that. So it looks really, really good. So I think Sonic stuff, like if you guys are collectors and you want something that's probably going to maybe be harder to get later on, get this stuff now, because once the movie drops, I think it's going to really skyrocket value. And that means not just as a collector collecting value, that just means it's going to be harder to get. I think if you really want to get it. So definitely try to get those. I know like I said, I have that. I don't have too many other ones. Potentially maybe getting some of the OG ones actually. Charlie knows about that. Yep. So I'm in the process of building my Grail collection up a little bit. So be on the lookout for that on the Pop Mix page. But yeah, that seems pretty cool. Some of those Sonic ones. So that was something that I saw a few people online. Actually, I haven't been able to get to Target myself, but I have seen some of them seeing them in stores already, and they're
probably
grabbing them. So
the Midwest, not in our Target,
is exactly where it was at. Mostly Midwest. Some people down south, because we've always said it before. The Targets up here in the Northeast, I don't know. They just either don't get it or you never see these things that you're seeing online, like people in California and these other places that are getting. So wish us luck. Hopefully we can get it. But yeah, so that is some of the big news. And then we also had a couple of things that were, so there were, I don't think these are really announced. So basically this may kind of spill over into our rumor section. But we did see that Black Panther has a new comic cover, which I have actually heard of this. I just don't think we have an actual glam shot, like an official what it'll look like, but I feel like I've heard of this before, and it's him on the throne. So we've talked about the comic covers before, and it seems like initially we saw those first DC ones, and then Marvel kind of started coming out with a few, and we had the WandaVision ones, and now we're getting rumors of more Marvel, like it seems like Marvel's type characters. Yeah, but we're getting the comic book versions, which is awesome. It makes sense. They're a very big comic book,
and they've all been so far new mold, which I like. At least from the glam shots as well. So
yeah, which we've talked about before, where we were like, we like that it was doing that, and it seems like they're continuing to do that. So that's something that I think will be good, because it'll make it different, not just that it's a comic with the same pop. Now we're actually getting that new one. And then we also have Doctor Strange is supposedly going to be the next Collector box. So the Multiverse of Madness, which obviously that's something that's going to be a huge movie. And it's going to be interesting because usually we get 2 pops in these boxes.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering if maybe we're not going to get anything super official, because that movie is going to be filled with spoilers if you don't see it, and like all of a sudden.
And I'm really hoping this is a good, like, I still got the Collector Core box, but I know we've talked in the past, like sometimes they haven't been the best anymore. Like I feel like this is a good opportunity to be a really good box, because there's going to be a ton of characters in this movie, and like why not make some special pops exclusive to this box? I think this is going to be one to get. So if you don't get it and you're a big Marvel fan, you should probably order this one on Amazon.
Yeah, and I think the smartest thing they can do, and I don't know if they're going to do it, but the smartest thing I think they could do is if they start dropping a line and they have a main line and a second wave or whatever, I think whatever 2 pops, let's say is 2 pops that are in this box, should not be released besides in the box. Like they shouldn't have other versions of them. I think it should be some pretty awesome characters that aren't your regular ones that you're going to get in the normal wave. That's how I feel like it would make it better, make it more. It's an exclusive box, and we've talked about it before. They used to kind of do that, and then they kind of just started repetitively making just another version of a character. And I think if they do it with this movie, I feel like they could totally do it, because I think there's going to be enough characters and enough.
Which, speaking of the box, I'm actually a little surprised they went right over No Way Home. They normally don't skip movies in that line,
like a major movie.
And they're not coming out with that, and I'm wondering if that was like reasons they were trying to keep secrets, or that's interesting.
It could be. But I feel like, I don't know why, but I felt like at some point early on, it was almost like rumored or like that was supposed to be the next one or something.
Yeah, I
And
think it
maybe they just
was.
didn't or something.
Yeah.
And now, so yeah, because we're
Unless that
still,
is the next one, like, because we're saying
yeah, maybe this isn't
yeah,
necessarily
the next
next,
one.
maybe
It's
the
just been like like leaks
one
that
that's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be.
coming out. So I guess we'll see. Keep an eye out for that for sure. We also had something I know you're a big fan of is NFTs. So there is another NFT drop. So like we've mentioned this before, it seems like every month now at this point we're probably
It
going to
seems
get
like
one.
that's what it's gonna be.
I think for this year we're going to also, but I like that they're kind of venturing out into different things. So now this one's actually titled Retro Comics, and it is specifically Popeye and Flash Gordon, right? So,
Yep.
so this is a mixed pack, which is pretty cool because you have two different ones. So I think that's kind of interesting. I think going forward, if they do this, it'll be a pretty big hit. If they do some other big, Marvel characters, DC characters, stuff like that, I think that'll be awesome. But right now, that's the one. It's dropping tomorrow, so the 18th. If you guys are interested on digital.funko.com, which is the drop at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to get on there because normally the premium packs are the ones that go the quickest. And Charlie,
I
I'm sure
think
you're
this
going to
one
be
will.
on there, right?
Yeah, I'll be on there. I want this. I'm like, I mean, we say it every time, but I'm totally in this. I even went from the beginning being like, I'm going to be selective about the drops that I get. Like right now, I just like, I'm keeping my momentum going of these redeemables. And this one has some pretty cool ones. It's got Flash Gordon as one of the redeemables. Popeyes. I mean, these ones are kind of obvious. Popeyes one, Pluto's one, and then
the Freddy version of
the
them
Freddy's
is
pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah. Which once again, it seems like the pattern is gonna be the Freddy is the royalty collection one, which is the way for you guys, if you don't remember talking about this before, the way you get that is completing all of the sets from the commons up into the epics. So getting everyone that isn't a redeemable. That's how you get it. So it's hard to get. I mean, I guess not if you want to drop like tons of money on the like, going onto like the Atomic Hub where you can get them after the non-official drops and you can pick and choose the ones that people are selling. That's how you get that. It's the only way you can get it. I mean, I doubt anyone has really bought enough packs, but I could be wrong where they just get everything and then they call it a day.
Because it's limited.
The limited. They've never been allowed to do that.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm pretty sure you're gonna get duplicates, and they limit you to the amount you could spend. I know they changed it, at least with the Bob Ross, they had changed how much you can spend. So being that the Bob Ross ones didn't all sell, it's gonna be interesting to see
what they do,
like how many packs this is, like how that's gonna work. But I think this is something that still has momentum. I mean, me and you go back and forth like talking about our current collections, and value is continuing to go up, even though I have no redeemables and I have a couple decent ones. It's still going up, and it could be because some people are trying to buy and the market's going up now because they're trying to fulfill, like get those collections filled out. But yeah, so that was kind of like the news. I think the last thing actually I wanted to mention, this wasn't Funko related, but I thought it was just pretty cool. Us being Star Wars Boba Fett fans, and obviously with the Book of Boba Fett out currently, there's a Book of Boba Fett based toy, and it's a Nerf gun, and it's actually the E3 blaster, which is his like gun, and it's actually a Nerf gun, which looks pretty
sweet.
sick.
I mean, it's a very premium. It's like I think $120 Nerf gun. It's just so funny because my wife actually saw pictures like, do you want this? And I'm like, yeah, I do, but I'm not like, you don't know how much that probably costs. It's not like a normal Nerf gun that you get at Target. She's like, oh my God, it costs that much. But like they're heavily detailed. Like for a Nerf gun, like it was I think a cool partnership. Where I mean it's a collectible, but it also does work as a Nerf gun. I mean, even the box is like super cool looking.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sick. It definitely looked awesome. But let's talk about some rumors. So
it's funny. Before we do the rumors, I'm actually just
go.
Something totally random that I know we weren't planning on talking about, but I wanted to bring it up because I found it interesting. So for those of you, I don't know if you noticed, but for the Eternals Pops, Entertainment Earth had exclusive ones, and because I don't even know if you're aware of this, that if you got it through them, you got packs of cards. Are you aware of this? Of Funko Pop cards of Eternals? And I've noticed they're finally starting to like, people are getting them, their pre-orders. And it made me think Funko's got like, they should be getting into like the physical card game too. not just the like how they made them into NFTs. I thought
Yeah.
it was like it's a super cool. I like trading cards are more popular than ever right now, and
well, don't you remember? I want to say it was like a year ago, it was a while ago, that there was that Tops, like they were going to be in connection with Tops cards or something.
It's funny. I remember that rumor.
I remember that, and
I'm not sure
forgot.
if this is it or. And then I remember when the NFTs came out, I'm like, well, I wonder if that's what people saw images of, and they actually were the NFTs, not the cards. It's just a random thing I wanted to bring up because I just like remembered it was. I think Funko should be doing that. I mean, I would buy them.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. I mean, being cards and trading cards in general, and because Funko has licenses to so many different shows and movies, they can obviously put that into cards. I mean, obviously Pokemon cards are, and sports cards, but like there's Marvel cards, there's DC cards, like, and those are popular, so they can just take those licenses and completely do that with the IPs. But I don't know. I could swear, and like, let us know if you guys know, definitely comment down below if you know about this, but I could have swore at some point there was supposed to be some kind of connection with them. And I want to say it was Tops, but as I'm saying that now, I do know that Tops was bought out by
Fanatics. Just bought it, which was
so I wonder, what, because now, that's a whole nother thing, like what's going to happen with those cards. But yeah, it's interesting because I do remember that coming out before NFTs was a thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Not to derail, but I just wanted to bring that up. And like, if any of you listeners, if you got those, I'm curious, like throw down a comment. I want to know what the cards are like with the pack, or I haven't read enough about it, like how many come in the pack, or if because I'm not sure if it was a randomized pack or you got a card that matched the pop you got. But regardless, they look pretty cool.
That's interesting though, that it came just with those as an exclusive. So, because you don't see them anywhere else.
No,
so,
and then the pops even have an exclusive sticker on it saying that,
with the cards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. That's interesting. So let us know if you guys know. I definitely did not know about that. I didn't really go after the Eternals ones enough to even look into it. So I guess that's probably why I didn't even know. But let's go into some rumors. So we spoke about some last week. It's been pretty heavy. There's a lot. We try to usually pick out the ones that we're most excited for. You guys kind of at this point now, 19 episodes in, if you've been listening the entire time, you know what we kind of like in our fandoms and stuff. But some major stuff is there was a bunch of diecast rumors out there. So we spoke about last week that the Captain America, the Sam Wilson version, Falcon, was one that was rumored. But now we're getting some that we're just like super excited about. So Boba Fett, of course, Darth Vader. We also got Black Panther and Thor. So these seem awesome. Again, like we said before, these are just rumors. None of this is official yet, but there's a pretty high chance that some of these can be. I think some of these make sense. I mean, if they can get into Star Wars and they do start making Star Wars, we've talked about this before, seeing Star Wars as a diecast would make sense with a lot of these characters. Darth Vader,
they're the two best characters
obviously
to make
makes
first.
sense. And Boba Fett, I feel like them, and then probably Mandalorian, just because of armor alone and just what they're wearing, would make the most sense to like translate into diecast. Black Panther and Thor could also fit perfectly. We've already seen some Marvel characters that have officially come out, and it seems like they're going to continue the comic book thing. But it'd be interesting to see if they get into Star Wars, because then it's like, do they stick with those three big lines, or do they start going into movies and shows and stuff like that? So we talked about it before, where we think it's going to eventually get out of hand. And just with these being rumored, it's already kind of like, okay, now they're going to make a lot of these, but they're pretty sick characters. So it's still
as long as they keep it. We've said in the past, as long as they keep it to like these awesome characters that are like iconic, like the line is going to be awesome. The moment we get a diecast of like some random character just because they feel like it should, that's when I'll be like, okay, I don't need to get all of these.
Yeah, I totally agree. Another huge drop was sodas. So we talked about this before. We talked about this in our year-end review. We talked about it when we were like predicting what's going to happen in 2022, and we're already in 2022, and we're starting to officially see this, but now rumor wise is kind of fitting what we thought, and is that Funko is going to go heavy on sodas. And we already have a ton of sodas that were officially announced that we're waiting to order because they're not even out yet. But now, rumor wise, we have a crazy list here. So I'll just kind of run through them. We have Pete, Goliath, Pete's Dragon, I'm assuming, right? George Sanderson. We have Chef Colette, Linguini, and Remy. Those are all from Ratatouille. We have an Ochako, which is a My Hero, which we already seen a couple My Hero sodas, so it kind of makes sense. It's a very popular character. And then finally, I am praying that they do this. We're going to see some new horror sodas, which I have been talking about this forever. But right now we have Gizmo, Sam, which he's chilling right back here, Sam from Trick or Treat, and Ghostface, which wearing the shirt, favorite character, one of my favorite pops of all time. And I said, they need to make this guy. And how fitting that, we're talking about this now, the weekend of Scream, the new movie that just released. But yeah, I'm super hyped for those. And then not really like it's kind of a rumor, but we're now seeing pictures supposedly of the Freddy Funko like Halloween one that we were supposed to see a while ago, vampire. And the chase of that, he's a skeleton and it's glowing dark, which looks so sick. But we actually seen pictures of that soda. So someone has it. Hopefully it's real. It's not just fake. If it's fake, it looks amazing. But we do know that that's supposed to be dropping. So yeah, that soda lineup is crazy. It's pretty epic. And I'm very hyped. Hopefully they get into the horror game. Like I've been saying, I know they have some already. We'll go over those when we talk more into horror in the second half of the episode. But some of these characters I'm very hyped about. But
and then too, I'm trying to remember if we brought this up last week, but Star Wars sodas have been pretty heavily rumored as well. I think did we bring this up last week? How we saw that maybe a Yoda one is coming, which
I think we had. I don't know if we didn't. I believe we might have mentioned it because I know we've talked about it.
Because I know we were kind of going back and
Star
forth,
Wars
like,
is
how's that going to fit in the can? Some people are saying it's like will be interesting. Are they going to start, changing the way they package them? It'll be interesting, but I'm like super pumped for that soda.
Yeah, and like that was one that's like a rumor, but we already kind of have an idea that this should be coming out with Star Wars ones almost confirmed wise. But we have seen concepts. I know we've seen Boba Fett, Mandalorian concepts, and they look amazing. And those aren't even rumors. That's just someone created digitally. They're just amazing at doing it. But yeah, that's that. And then we had a couple other just pretty big ones. Flash Blacklight. So the DC line is going to have another wave of Blacklight pops, which right now they only have 3. So makes sense because Marvel's been so heavy with it. I feel like DC's just playing catch up at this point. But suppose we're going to get one from Flash. And the picture we saw was the TV version, which we do see a lot of those pops already. So it would make sense. Yeah. Although the ones we currently have are the comic versions. Like the Batman, the Joker, and the Harley aren't movie related, so it's going to be interesting. Is it going to be comic?
But they're the animated series.
Animated series, yeah. But it's not like it's not. It's so Flash is going to be like interesting. Are they going to do with a show like they're doing with a series, or is it going to be a movie? Or the
which
comic,
I think it'll be that way because for all you know,
it should be the show.
The GameStop Godspeed soda that just recently came out.
Yes,
that's of the Flash TV series. So they seem to go heavy into that show when they're making products.
Mm-hmm.
One way or another.
Yeah, I find it's pretty popular.
Yeah, it is. So
I guess we'll see that. And then one of the big ones is, which we had a feeling it would be, is the No Way Home pop line. So again, this is just rumored, and this is based off of what the list that we saw. I don't even have it off the top of my head, but it was pretty heavy on stuff that we talked about.
I have it basically all memorized, so I could like drop it.
There you go. So we'll go into it. If you guys not have watched No Way Home, this is definitely gonna be a spoiler here.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you probably have been spoiled, I would assume. But
if you haven't, just fast forward a little bit and you'll miss that segment. But keep listening because there's a lot of other good stuff to come. But I mean, basically, so they're rumored to come out with all the villains they saw in the movie. So we're gonna get a Green Goblin, we're gonna get a Doc Ock, we're gonna get an Electro, we're gonna get a Lizard, and then of course we're gonna get that epic 3-pack of all the Spider-Man. So we're finally gonna get a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. We're gonna get a new Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and obviously we're gonna get Tom Holland. But that I'm so hyped. I'm hyped for this whole line, but of the second wave. But that 3-pack is going to be epic.
Yeah, which was one. I mean, when we first were like talking about the movie before we even watched it. Like we pretty much knew like, oh, they're going to be in it. This is going to be it. And if that happened, we knew. I was like, they have to have a Spider-Man 3-pack. They have to make this like a thing. And I guess supposedly we're going to see it. So I'm hoping that we do. I'm sure, they're really milking the movie in the theaters right now for a while before they really start pumping out like merchandise for it. But once that wave starts, I think we're going to see so much merchandise around this movie, and it pops alone and t-shirts and all that kind of stuff. So I guess we'll see that. But that was kind of like the biggest rumors I had. I don't know if there's anything else that kind of like that was probably the most exciting for sure on our end, for news and rumors.
That was most exciting. And like you said, I feel like that line is going to get like totally blown out with tons of stuff we just didn't get in the beginning because they didn't want to spoil the movie, because we've gotten really no other Funko products from that movie besides that first wave.
Yeah, the initial wave, which was everything everyone knew about and all that kind of stuff. So so we'll be waiting for those because they're obviously hopefully will be coming out. But for the rest of the news and everything, that was our news segment. Thank you guys for sticking around for that.